Hey guys, Crystal here at Crystal's Crafties, and today we're going to make a 3-tiered cake out of cardstock. Each of these tiers is a box that you can open and put little trinkets in, whatever you may want to put in there. So that's really cool. You can kind of get bigger with each section of what you want to put in. And I have the SVG for this in my shop. I'll link to that. So you'll need the SVG file. You will need cardstock in whatever colors you choose. I get all of my cardstock from scrapbook.com, and I'll link to this cardstock here, but you know, any cardstock will work. Then you're going to need glue or tape of your choice. When I put this together, I used 2 different sizes of glue dots. You'll see me just pulling these straight off the tape, the glue dot tape, but you can get the glue dot runner if you want. You can get a tape runner, you can get double-sided tape, whatever you want there. And I also use this Craft Bond precision tip glue for some of the more detailed parts. I'll link to this as well. And I really do like to use hot glue at one point in this. I didn't do it in the video, but I do explain where I like to use the hot glue. But any type of glue or tape you want really will be just fine for this. And you will need your scoring stylus or your scoring wheel if you have the maker. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is assemble all of this in Cricut Design Space. So let me hop over there, get that done, and then we'll come back and put it together. Okay, so let's start in Cricut Design Space. When you purchase the file, you will get 3 separate SVG files. You'll need to upload them into Design Space. This is the base, this is the top, and this is the middle layer. Let's start with the base layer. It's going to be the largest. I'm going to select it and insert it into the project. Okay. Some very specific things you need to do here. First of all, before you touch anything, we need to size these to what you want them to be. These should be sized for the project that we're making today, which has a 3-inch top, a 4-inch middle, and a 5-inch base. If they aren't sized right when you pull them into Design Space, you need to resize them. Or if you want something different, if you don't want that specific size. Okay, so ungroup this whole file here and leave them like this. We are needing to size the circle, but also everything else with it needs to be sized accordingly. If you ungroup this and only size the circle, you're going to mess up the design. So I have intentionally left everything put together so that you can just take this layer here, and this is going to be the lid of our base. I'm going to size it to 5.2. And so now this circle is 5.2 inches, and everything else got sized accordingly. This is the base, so I need to size it to 5. And now everything here is sized accordingly. You want your lid to be 0.2 inches larger than your base so that it slides on easily and goes over any kind of decoration that you might have added onto your design. So if you want your base to be 6, this is the base over here, then you're going to size the lid of the base to 6.2. Whatever you want them to be, just make sure your lid is 0.2 inches bigger than your base. The way you can tell the difference from the lid and the base, other than looking at the instructions that are included, is the lid will always have a more narrow band. This band is pretty deep. It should be 2.5 inches. This band is more narrow. It's only 1 inch. Okay, so we've got everything sized correctly. Now we need to change these cut lines to score lines. So I'm going to start here at the top. Anytime you see this right here, these little skinny tiny lines, take them, and they're red, you'll see, and the instructions say change these red cut lines to score lines. Take it and make this a score. Same thing here. and make this a score. We have a few more of these to do. I'm just going to come get all of them right now. Don't ungroup anything. Just come get all of your stuff to score lines. Okay, should be one more set. Here we go. Okay, so now we've just told the Cricut to score and then cut so that we can easily fold these cakes once we get done. But we do have to do a little more before we're ready to cut. If we just put these score lines in but we don't attach it to the background that it's on, it's going to show up a completely separate page. Like, watch this. If I hit make it, here's my score lines, and I want them actually on the design, so that's not what we want. So I'm going to ungroup this whole project here again. Just click the ungroup, and we can move these circles out. We don't need these circles anymore. We can move these separately now, and we can ungroup each one. Ungroup. And now we don't need these guys. Let's move them out of the way. Okay, so now we have our background, or our part that we want to have scored, and the score lines. If you click this, you can come over here and you see it's highlighted in this Layers tab. I want you to select it all, if it's not already all selected, and click Attach. Now those score lines are attached to this background, and they will score directly on this background. Let's do the same thing over again. We've got this. We need to ungroup it to get these little blue decorations off. Select it all. It should already be selected, but if it's not, drag your box around and select it and hit Attach. Those score lines are attached. Okay. Now let's go work on the pink one. So ungroup, get these circles out of the way. We don't need them right now. Let me kind of move all this a little further down. Okay. Now we are going to ungroup again and move off our stripes. Ungroup, move these guys out of the way. So we're left with our score line and our background. Select it all, attach. Okay, those are done. Let's get these guys. Ungroup, move the stripes out of the way. Select it all, attach. Okay, I know this is a lot of steps, but it is all in the PDF printout, so you can kind of refer back to that as you need to. But now this design would be ready to cut if you like the colors that are on there, or you can just keep track of what colors you want to make everything. If you feel like you need to go and change the colors so that you can kind of keep it straight when you're putting it on your mat, what I want you to do is come up here to Color Sync. And let's say you want the base and the lid to be the same color. Here I have them at 2 different colors. You just move everything where you want it to be. And now your base and lid will cut out of the same color, and your decorations will cut out of a different color. If you want to change those colors, let's say it's hard for you to keep track because you want your box to be black and white. So you can come up here, go back to your Layers tab, and you can take this and you can make it white. And then you can take this and you can make it black. And then you can come back over here to Color Sync and move everything one at a time like we did before, so you're not having to click around and find things. We can move all this down here to white. Let me get it all sorted out so that we can put this on the mat. Okay, so there's all the white parts. Let me finish these black parts. Okay, so now my cake is black and white. And I'm going to hit Make It. So this one was one of our larger ones. This was the base layer, I believe, so this is the largest one. You'll get 4 circles out of one 12 by 12. And then the next one will do all of your banding and your scoring. And then all of your decorations will be on one. If you do not have 12 by 12 cardstock, I need you to come down here to this material size. Notice it doesn't say mat size, it says material size. And change it to 8.5 by 11, which is what your cardstock will be. If you don't have 12 by 12, you have 8.5 by 11. You might have 6 by 6. That's not even an option, so let's not worry about that. And now it shows your paper on the mat, and you know exactly how much room you have to fit things in, and you're going to get a lot less per paper. And you'll need to do that with each color. When I changed the white, it changed all of the white, but it didn't change my black. So I'm going to come down here and change the black as well. And you see how it kind of repositioned everything on there? Okay, so you'd send this to your Cricut and you would cut it. I am going to do all of that cutting off screen, and then I will come back and we will assemble this. Okay, so I have everything cut out now. I have my bottom layer, my middle layer, and my top layer. And as I was cutting, I was labeling each layer. This will be helpful. You can see here I just put BL, so I know that this goes on my bottom layer. Same thing here, I put TL for top layer. It'll just be helpful when you're getting everything together so that you know you're not having to remember, oh, what color did I put here? What color did I put there? Everything's just together. Okay, so I'm going to move the middle layer off to the side, the top layer off to the side, and we are going to start with the bottom layer. Okay, so BB is the bottom base. So this is the base of my cake, and this will be its lid that goes on top of it, so like the icing on the top. I'm going to build the base first. So here I have this here. I've got this labeled BB for bottom layer base, and this is the one where we have these score lines. Just quickly fold on your score lines. Just pick it up and fold it over. It should go right down on the score line. It really shouldn't be too difficult to do. Same thing with your next one. Fold, fold. And these don't have to be like, super creased. This is just going to be to form your circle and to have your little circle sit on top of. Okay, to connect these, we are going to glue tab to surface, just like this. Okay, and then we're going to pull this side around, and we're going to glue this tab to this surface so that we will have a circle when we're done. I do really prefer to use 3 different kinds of glue when I'm doing this. I prefer to use hot glue to connect the tabs to make the little form here, but I don't have my hot glue out right now and heated, so we're going to use glue dots. I use glue dots for the embellishments and the smaller things, and then if I need something really precise, I use this craft bond glue. But we will get into all that as we're going. So I'm going to use my larger glue dots for this. Let me just get these going here. Come here, glue dots. I'll just take you completely out. Okay, so I'm going to stick one here. That was on the wrong side. Let me try to get that off. That's not going to be helpful later. You want your glue on the outside of your tab. So you see how that would have been folded over? You want your glue on the outside. I put mine on the inside by accident. Okay, now let's put it on the right side here. So there's a glue dot. And let's see, I'll put one more up here at the top. Is this in frame? Yeah, okay, so y'all can see that. So I'll put this one up here and peel it off. Okay, so now I have my glue dots on the correct side, and I will attach it to here. You want to be careful and line these up really good on your first shot if you're using glue dots, because you don't get a second try with glue dots. Okay, so those are connected now. I'm going to put 2 glue dots on the outside of this one. There are 2 different adhesions that you can get for glue dots. You can get permanent or you can get removable. I always get permanent because it's not like I'm ever going to be taking these things apart. So, okay, so we're going to just bring this around into a circle. And again, make sure you have it exactly where you want it before you push it down onto those glue dots. So, we now have our first little circle. Put it flat down and get all these little prong parts on the inside. This is the base of your cake, and we're going to take our BB, our bottom base layer, and we're going to put it in here just to kind of firm it up some. This is where I'm going to use some of the smaller glue dots, and I'm not going to glue this whole thing in. I'm just going to place it on a few just to give it some stability and hold it in place. So let's see here. I'm actually just going to take these glue dots off with my fingers and put it on some of these prongs. Don't glue it all down yet. Get it on a few of your prongs first. Get on there. Let's see here. That's 4. 1, come out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That might be good enough. Okay, so put this guy here like this. Get my circle. And stick them in. And then just push all around so that the glue dots stick where you've put them. And you'll have this kind of a looking thing right now. But that's okay, that's what this second circle is for. It's going to sit right on top of here, and it's going to kind of pretty all of that up so that it doesn't look so, you know, pokey or whatever. Just making sure this is good and down. Okay, I'm going to put all my glue dots away. And this is where I'm going to come in and use my precision glue, because I want this to be secure. I want the edges to be clean. I don't want any kind of glue making everything stick up. I want it, you know, I want to make sure that it's looking really, really good. So I'm going to use this precision tip glue. I'll link to all of these products. And if you did label your things, like I have the BB on this one, glue on the side that has the labels, because you won't see them if you glue on the side that has the labels. You won't see them in your finished product is what I mean. So just take this all along the edges, get a good little amount, and then through the middle. Okay, tap that back up. Pick it up and be kind of careful with it so you don't get glue everywhere. Place it down, and you do have a little bit of time on this to be able to maneuver this lid and get it exactly where you want it. Okay, I've got some glue on me. Let me just rub that off. All right. Okay, so that's looking good. You want to flip it upside down and again, push all around the edges. This will just really, really stick the glue down and get it to hold in place. Sorry, my head's in frame, but I'm trying to make sure that all of these edges are glued down and that the lid is on center. It's not hanging over on any of the edges. Okay, I'm going to give that just a second to sit there. And this is now the base of our cake. We're going to make the lid to sit on top of this next. So here's my lid parts. These are going to go together the exact same way. So I'll show you one more time while I'm making this lid, and then I'm probably going to assemble the other two off camera. So we want to fold at the score line. Take this one, fold at the score line. Get whatever size glue dots you want. I want my bigger glue dots for this one. Okay. I'm just going to put one glue dot here. Okay. I'm going to put it over here and make sure it is exactly where I want it to be before I glue it down. Let me turn that around. Okay, this would be a good time if you want the little extra pieces. If you want to put these on now while this is laying flat, it would be a good time to go ahead and do that. You can also just put them on after the fact, like that one. But let me do a few of these while I have you here. I think I'm going to glue dot these as well, so that you can see their placement. Glue dot at the top. Get on there, glue dot. And glue dot at the bottom. And then these will line up with the prongs that you have cut out. I'm going to start at one end. And again, make sure you know where you're putting it before you stick it on with a glue dot. Get some more of these. These longer ones are for this, and the shorter ones are for the lid. So you want to skip one in between. I'm so glad that landed the right way. And let's see here. So that's how those will go. Let me finish these up off camera, and then when I come back we'll put this together and finish up the lid. Okay, so I have all of these put on the bottom, and I'm just going to glue that together in a minute. But I wanted to show you, if you do happen to forget to put them on the base before you glue it together, you can still do it. You can still see where they're going to go. So if you look really closely under the lid here, you can see where your prongs are. So you're just going to want to start one at the edge, use your glue dots, put it on, grab your next one, skip a prong, and come to here. You can still easily see where they go. So let me get these put on, and then I'll be back. Okay, and now I have all of the stripes on the base. Let's finish making our lid. So we're going to connect these with a large glue dot. Let's see here. These larger glue dots are much harder to peel off the backing. There we go. Okay. So just put it together. There we go. Okay. So here's this part. We're going to do it just like we did the base. We're going to kind of fold all the little prong parts in. Get in there. Come on now. There it goes. One didn't want to go in. Okay. Fold them all in and get your circle. Nothing wants to work with me today. Get your circle in here. Okay. That'll give it a little stability. So we can come in with our glue dots. The troubles of making videos here. Everything works perfectly when you're not on video. But as soon as I get this camera out, it's like, hey, let me cause some problems. Is that how your life goes too? When it counts, you have all the trouble, but when no one's watching, it just goes easy. So we're going to get our small glue dots now, and we're going to put them on just a few of these prongs, exactly the same as we did with the base. So let's flip this back the other way, push that down, and make sure all those glue dots stick. Okay, and now it's time to put our top on so that everything looks really pretty from the top. So you'll notice on this one, you can see the glue. This does get better over time, but if you don't like this, don't put glue in the middle. If you don't want that on there, you will put your big glue dots in the middle. Let me find the big ones. Just a couple of these should do. There is one. There is two. And then you will put your liquid glue all around the edges like we did before. All right, let's put this on. Try to be very intentional with where you put it because you have those glue dots in the middle, which don't allow for as much modification. Okay, get this glue off my fingers. Gonna push this down. Now I'm going to turn it upside down like I did the other one and push from the bottom. Look around, make sure it's looking good where you need it to. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for just a second, and then we're going to put the lid on the base, and you'll see how the two go together. Okay, so you just want to put your lid on. Should go on much easier than that. I don't know what was going on there. Okay, and then line up where the two are together in the back, line that up. So here is the base layer of your cake. We can set this aside, just right there is fine. And next I will do the middle layer. So the middle layer didn't have any of the decorations on it. It just had the glitter top. I'm going to assemble this off camera, and then I will come back and do the top layer that has the little polka dots on it. Okay, so now I have assembled the middle layer, and it will just sit right on top of the base layer. And it's time to do the top layer. So it assembles just like the other two. You fold in your things and you connect your sides to make your circle, and you put your lids on. This one has the little circles. So for these, there is no specific placement. You are just going to put the circles wherever you feel is the best place to put them. Obviously there's some bigger ones, and they're going to go on your base layer because your base layer is wider than your top layer. I do want to note, if you have marked your layers, if you've written on them, put your dots on the side that does not have the writing. The same thing with your stripes. Put it on the side that does not have the writing. The side that has the writing will be on the inside. So let's just arrange some dots. I don't know. You just put these on however you want them. Move one of these down here. And you glue them in with glue dots. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll be back and assemble this one. Okay, so I have all the dots on. I'm going to assemble the top layer just the same as I did the base in the middle, and you've seen me do that twice already, so I'm going to speed the video up while I do this last little bit. Okay, and now the top layer is assembled. And you can put this guy on the top of your cake. Hold on. Let's do... Trying to determine which side is going to look the best with the dots and placements and all that good stuff. Let's do that. Okay. There is your cake. I still don't like that top. You can play around with it, get it however you want it to be. But there is your 3-tier cardstock cake. And if you want, you can attach the bottom of each to the top of the next so that it's stationary and it doesn't move. But you've got your lids that pop off and on. This one, so you can put things inside each layer of the cake or decorate it however you would like. Alrighty, that's all there is to it. Get back on there. That's all there is to it. Alright, we'll see you next time.